We're going to move now on to looking at international institutions, the UN mostly. And our first speaker is Amparo Domingo. She's the WDI country contact for Spain and currently standing to be an MEP in Spain on a feminist ticket with a big group of fantastic women. And the title of Amparo's talk is The WDI UN Working Group, What We Do and Why It Matters. So thank you so much, Amparo. And over to you.
First, why the group? This is the map of the current states of the signatories for Women's Declaration. So there are signatories from 160 countries, which means that there are people all over the world already aware of the changes that are being introduced in law by the substitution of sex by gender identity, of sexual identity, as it happens in Spain. Those changes are gradual. They don't happen at once, at the same, or at, they don't happen at the same time in all countries, but they have a different pace because every country have a different political landscape, different legislation, different cultures and uses and all that. So usually, even though we are an international organization, usually we work everyone in our country. Even it might be our country of origin, or maybe our country of residence. That's the case most of the time. But at the same time, also because the declaration is started at the beginning as the feminist reaction or feminist reply to Yogyakarta Yogyakarta principles, so-called Yogyakarta principles. And also because we have observed with time that there is this pattern, this way of doing things that really is very similar from one country to the next. It was obvious at some point in the activism of WDI that we had to have an eye at sort of a higher level, the national level. So that's why there's this group, the working group, the UN Working Group, in order to have an eye on bigger multinational, multilateral organizations. Sometimes we speak about things that could be happening at the EU as well, because those changes in those bodies could really influence a lot of the countries at once, because then the trans activists have the excuse to go further in their local activism. So I also would like to say that this group is a sort of the follow-up of a different group we had before. So this is just a collective effort. I haven't participated in all the documents that I'm going to show you or mention, but this is the work that we have been doing so far. So actions. We have had we have participated sometimes in public calls. Sometimes we did send a statement or a letter out of our own initiative, not prompted by any open call. But some of those documents, some of them are public in our website. You can have a look at the banner at the news side of the womensdeclaration.com website. At news and updates, it goes in reverse chronological order, so you will always have the newest piece of news first, and then you have to go to the following pages to go back in time. So, but in this part of the website, you're going to find the the documents that we did find interesting enough to publicize in our website. So from here, we had some work done in 2021, but one of the earliest pieces that we published was this submission to the International Criminal Court on the policy initiative on sexual and gender-based crimes. Dianne is going to talk about this as in its current state, in the 2024 state, 2 years after this document we sent. And the thing is that already there we were concerned because some information was going around about the use, how the International Criminal Court was interpreting the word gender, because by the content we were reading, it was clear that the word gender was being used as in reference to sex. But as you know from the UN, with the work of the SOGI expert, of whom we have already spoken in previous presentations here in FQT, him and other activists at this UN level, they are introducing a new meaning of the word gender. They try to without changing the wording of the documents, they want to change the meaning and use that gender that was in the US or international documents. Most of the times is written as a synonym of or a substitute of the word sex. The trans activists want to use that as meaning gender identity or people with some identities. So we already were stating our concern 2 years ago in March 2022 about how the International Criminal Court, a new initiative, was using the word gender, and we were reminding them that that was not a clear term in international law, that they should use the word sex to make it clear that it referred either to males or females. That same year, we published on our website a document that it was our own analysis of the report called Gender Theory, that these international experts, independent experts on sexual orientation and gender identity that the UN has. Then the expert was Víctor Madrigal-Borloz. As you all know, he's no longer the incumbent of the mandate. Now there's a South African a gay guy as well. But he had, Madrigal-Borloz had, through an open call where he received some submissions, he wrote a report in 2 parts, and it had a general title of Gender Theory. That paper was his push for legal self-ID as a best practice for all over the world. You can read the statement in full on the webpage. You have here the link, direct link to this paper, and this is a snapshot of the beginning of it. As I said, it was first wrote in 2 parts, called The Law of Inclusion and then Practices of Exclusion. And this is a very interesting document to read because it is a sort of masterpiece in gaslighting. It's really very interesting to see how the mechanics of the manipulation of language work at this level. And this is the document that I have referred in previous presentations. The executive summary, Madrigal-Borloz defined gender as a suprabiological phenomenon. I'm still shocked, as you can see. So this statement by the volunteers from WDI and at the international level is published at our website as well. We have from that year and next year and following, we had some other documents that we prepared. For instance, we signed a letter in support of Rem Al-Salem, Special Rapporteur, regarding speaking up for women who have experienced violence for questioning gender ideology. That's I don't think that that statement or that letter is uploaded. Also, there was some submission in relation that was from WDI Canada, but it was in relation to the composition of a panel regarding guidelines for transgender health that was going on at that time. Then this is on the website. You can access it and read it. There were several circumstances going on at the same time. So we had a document tackling all those elements. It's quite complex. I have here a reminder of what happened, and this is I included a snapshot because sometimes we find out about these things just by chance by reading something that pops up on your screen on Twitter. So it would be also very useful for us as an organization if women that maybe they are not active, but find out about some of these situations, maybe could send us an email or let us know somehow. This, as I said, was a sort of a surprise because this is the Argentinian ambassador at the UN. And this day, last year in March, they said that they had signed a petition on behalf of 28 states from 4 continents, pushing for self-ID. So they did present this document at the Human Rights Council, a 52nd session of the Human Rights Council. So this is a very important moment for trans activists trying to push really, really hard at the UN level to support self-ID. So Women's Declaration International Group got together and drafted a reply exposing why that was wrong and exposing our defense of sex-based definition of women and sex-based rights for women as well. This, as I said, is a document that was addressing different circumstances that were happening at the same time, because, you know, sometimes it's very messy. Different things are happening at the same time. So it's really difficult to keep up with everything that's going on. And that's why I said that it would be useful for us to have some heads up from other women if they had the information. This, as you see, is from last year. And I think next is also from, yes, it's 2023. This was a statement we did in support of the Rem Al-Salem, the Special Rapporteur on Violence Against Women and Girls, who had been smeared by the AWID, or one of the ECOSOC feminist organizations that is very well respected and has a lot of influence had attacked the rapporteur, telling her that she was a transphobe for defending sex-based rights. So that statement is also on our website. And as a piece of information, I would like you to know, because I found out that not so long ago, that there's this man called Julia Earth. Sorry, slides went off. Julia Earth. He is an autogynephile living in Berlin. He is currently the executive director of ILGA World. He was a signatory of Yogyakarta Plus back in 2017. And he is a member of the board of directors of AWID, which of course would explain the position that this organization took against the Special Rapporteur on Violence Against Women and Girls. So we were defending her. We sent that statement, and we published that also on our website. Then I think the others are not public yet, but we did reply to the Special Rapporteur on Torture on the situation of women in prisons, where self-ID is in place. Also, there was this at the UK level. This was important as well, because there was a review of the there was a review. There's this the acronym is GANRI, is the British. I think Bernadette might help me. Is the sort of the ombudsman is the highest British organism defending human rights in the UK, and trans activists were trying to remove that special I don't know. Sorry, I'm lacking some English words today. I'm sorry for that, but they were trying to remove those that characteristic that had, and Women's Declaration International also intervened in support of this organization. We have one of the last documents we have produced is the submissions we sent to the another open call for by the Special Rapporteur Remal Salem, and her report about violence in sports against women and girls. There were different groups from WDI intervening, and this is the one that we have published in our website. We are currently working on some other issues, but it will be Dianne who will inform you about that. And I think that's all that I have. I would like to also tell you that at the website, not only at the news side, also at resources, you can find some of the papers and articles related to what I've been explaining. So maybe this is a simpler way to find this document, not mixed at the news websites. You have both ways of finding. So we have a sort of library of resources for you also to take a model if at some point you need that for your activism in your country. So that's all I have today, and thank you very much for your attention.